Hi everybody, James Copley here from the Sunderland Echo. Just going to go through a couple of the on-the-whistle questions after the game at Carrow Road against Norwich City. I'm currently standing in the train station in Norwich waiting for my early train. It's about 7:10, so it's been a very early start after what was a very late night. A lot of people have asked about Jobe Bellingham, why he was rested. It is precautionary. Bris after the game confirmed that he did have a little bit of an injury issue, otherwise he may well have been involved. He did drop completely out of the squad. Now it sounds from Bris like Jobe Bellingham is going to be back to play Swansea City at the Stadium of Light on Saturday, but to be honest, with Sunderland's playoff spot, pretty much secured coming into that Norwich game, the decision was made just to rest Jobe Bellingham. Bris said after the game that he was perhaps due a rest. And if you think of the amount of football Jobe Bellingham's played this season, I think it was probably time. So that doesn't seem like one to worry about currently. And hopefully Jobe Bellingham will be back for the Swansea City game and Sunderland's playoff run. And another question I've been asked quite a couple of times on social media, YouTube and Twitter, is Sunderland's playoff position now mathematically secure? Yes, it is, given the number of games Sunderland have to play. Even if Bristol City were to win all of their games, they could still finish above Sunderland. But Coventry City and Middlesbrough have to play each other, so that means the point against Norwich City at Carrow Road means Sunderland are mathematically secure in terms of their playoff positions. I was also asked a couple of times about Dennis Cirkin. The last update we got from Bris was about 2 or 3 weeks more for Dennis Cirkin. That was perhaps a week ago, so you're now looking at the 2-week mark. I'm sure he'll get asked about that during his press conference in the week, but I suspect Sunderland won't go about rushing Dennis Cirkin back. You know, Alan Brown's come over to right back, Trey Hume's gone to left back. They've swapped that around in recent games. Leo Hjelde is now back as well and playing well. Start to get a little bit of momentum. Had a few hairy moments against Norwich City, I think it's fair to say, but overall positive to have Leo Hjelde back. So I don't think that they will rush Dennis Cirkin. A lot of people as well have been asking about whether we should be concerned that Sunderland's attack seems to be quite blunted at the moment, and I think it is a little bit of a concern going into the playoffs, but Sunderland are now keeping clean sheets. They're now being dogged, determined defensively. I think that's very, very promising. And I think Sunderland will click in attack again, hopefully get back to the free scoring form that they showed earlier on in the season, thinking of the games against Sheffield Wednesday and Cardiff and the like. It is a little bit of a concern, isn't it, going into a playoff campaign, because you would like Sunderland to score more goals. Of course you would. We've tended to edge games 1-0, haven't we, over the course of this season, but Sunderland have some very good attacking players. I think it's worth noting against Norwich City as well that it was always going to be difficult to Sunderland to find the feet in attack, because you had Milan Aleksic playing over on the right hand side, on the right wing. That's not a position he's really familiar with. Tommy Watson was over on the left. He hasn't played a lot of football, and it was Eliza Mayenda up front who was replacing Wilson Isidore, so he doesn't really have a head of steam at the moment, although he did play a fair amount of football against West Brom after coming on. A few people have asked as well about what Lefay said about Enzo Lefay. To be honest, when Enzo Lefay came onto the field in the second half, I actually felt for the first time that there was a possibility that Sunderland could win the game. I thought his quality on the ball, his touches, his turning, his range of passing was superb. I'm reluctant to over-egg Enzo Lefay, but I just think that he's absolutely brilliant. I spoke to Alan Brown after the game as well, and he basically said to me that there's nobody like Enzo Lefay at the club or in the Championship. I asked Alan Brown about where Enzo Lefay ranked in terms of the players he's played with, and Alan Brown said he was right up there. But what did Bris say about him after the game? He's still going to manage Enzo Lefay. He didn't give anything away in terms of Swansea and Swansea City at the Stadium of Light on Saturday, but I think he wants to wrap the French midfielder up in cotton wool heading into the playoff campaign. Sunderland have 5 games left, so I don't see any reason why they need to sort of throw him in at the deep end. I think it's good, especially with a hamstring injury. We've seen Romain Mundle, haven't we, have a reoccurrence of his injury, which is a real shame for Sunderland heading into the playoff campaign. So I don't think they'll want to repeat that with Enzo Lefay. And the same with Dennis Cirkin. I can't see, although Enzo Lefay is obviously back playing, I can't see them rushing him too fast. A lot of people as well have asked about Sunderland's fringe players and the impact they can have towards the back end of the season, and I think, you know, it would be good to see Milan Alexic a lot more. Sunderland paid good money for him last summer. He's been obviously in and out the side, had some unlucky moments this season, just thinking away to Millwall at the Den. He probably should have scored, and then Millwall go up and score at the other end. So I think we will see Regis Bris use his squad a little bit more like he did against Norwich. Obviously he made 4 changes, but Bris also has to balance that, doesn't he, with the fact that Sunderland are in the playoffs now and they need to build momentum and finish the season as strongly as possible, so they go into that playoff campaign in good form, in good spirits. I think he wants to develop a few little things tactically as well, but I think overall, generally, I think the first half against Norwich was very, very poor, and I thought Dan Neil particularly was under par. I've mentioned that in our on the whistle post-match video. But I think it's a good point in the end for Sunderland. 3 clean sheets on the bounce. I thought Chris Netman was absolutely fantastic. I think there's lots to be positive about heading into the final games, and it's an interesting fixture against Swansea on Saturday to see what Bris does. Will he sort of play his first team, or will he look to rotate again, look to give Milan Alexic more minutes? I'm guessing we'll find out on Thursday, which is Bris's press conference day. Thank you very much for watching, because it's been a little bit of a slapstick video. I'm currently in the waiting room in Norwich City's, in Norwich's train station. I'm a little bit groggy, I'm a little bit tired, so I probably haven't made a lot of sense, but I appreciate you persisting with us and me and the other whistle videos. Phil will be back, you'll be pleased to know, after the Swansea City game for On the Whistle. He tends to do a lot better job of these things than I do, because I'm on the move and it's been tough. But anyway, I digress and I'm rambling. You can head over to the Sunderland Echo website for all the latest news after Norwich City and ahead of the Swansea City game. Thank you very much for watching.